Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and on screen we have a puzzle by Alice. Alice has been featured on the channel a few times and her puzzles have always been incredibly well received. She also happens to make some of the most beautiful puzzles we ever get sent on the channel. I'll show you what we actually got sent here. This is a snip of it. Look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, we can't render it quite as beautifully in our software, so we have to make do with what we've got here. Now, what are the rules? Well, we've got each row, column and 9-cell region must contain all the digits 1 to 9. Additionally, each value must see one or more identical values by a chess knight's single move. So we have done an abundance of puzzles on the channel before in which cells separated by a knight's move cannot contain the same digits. Here, every single cell must see the same value as whatever it is in a knight's move, in a single knight's move position. Now this, I've never solved a puzzle like this before. I'm slightly surprised such a puzzle can exist, and indeed Alice in her covering email noted that you can't do this. It's fairly obvious you can't do it with a normal Sudoku, because of course a normal Sudoku would have this shape of box, and this cell here clearly couldn't have the same digit in either of those two positions because they would be in the same 3x3 box. So she has constructed this incredibly intricate looking diagram for us to have a go at. Now, do have a go at this. I'm just trying to think if I can think of a puzzle that had a better test reports than this puzzle, and I'm not sure I can. So this is an absolute wonder of a puzzle. Click on the link under the video to play it. With that, let's get cracking. Right. So you can see we've got some grey cells here, and in fact we've got 9 grey cells. Right, okay, so the first thing we can note is that we've got 8 irregular 9-cell regions in the grid. So that means these 9 cells must also be the digits 1 to 9. They're just sort of a separated 9-cell region. That might be important. In fact, look at this lovely construction here. We've got one example of every given digit. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now it's very beautiful, but it's completely unhelpful in terms of trying to work out how to start this puzzle. And in fact, when I was sort of reading out the rules, I was noting that the corner squares they're perhaps the most restricted. In fact, they are the most restricted, aren't they? Because whatever we put in a corner, in fact, this corner square is a little bit interesting. Whatever we put in this square obviously can't repeat in that square, because that's in the same region. So whatever I put in that square has to appear in that square. I'm just wondering whether what we're meant to do is to, I'm going to colour those in the same colour, but I'm wondering whether what we're meant to do is to actually list the values, because obviously we can list the possible values of this and compare it with the possible values of this, and therefore reduce, yeah, because look, this cell can't be 4 or 8, this cell can't be 2 or 3. So the actual options for these two squares, let's make sure we put the options into both of them, are 1, 5, 6, 7 and 9. I don't see anything else there. Let's try this one instead. So this one's a grey cell. So this one sees this square, and so one of these two squares has to be the same as this square. One of these two squares has to be the same as this square. Now, that is a little bit interesting, isn't it? Because I'm just noticing that this square actually rules out an awful lot of this box over here. Yeah, okay, so we can, I think, get quite a good restriction on the value of this box, because this is weird. This is absolutely weird. So whatever goes in this box, where will it go in this box? You can see it's got to go in one of those 4 squares. But we also know that whatever we put in this box has to be in one of those 2 positions. So now you can see, hopefully you can see, that whatever we've put in this box cannot appear in either this cell, very obviously, but it also can't appear in any of these cells. Because if it did, it would make 3 appearances in row 2 and row 3. And that's not going to work. That is fascinating. So actually, therefore, this square, it can't be a 3 or a 4, therefore. Because whatever goes into this square has to actually appear in one of those 2 positions. That is bizarre. Let me just, if you don't mind, I am just going to check that, because that feels quite extraordinary. So whatever we put in this square, let's just imagine this square was I don't know, let's imagine it's a 5. So now you can see 5 would have to go in one of those squares, and 5 has to go in one of these 2 squares. So we can't put a 5 here, for example, because if we did, we'd have to put 5 in this square and this square. That's correct, isn't it? That's fine. Okay, so I'm happy with this logic. I think this means that this square, so there. Oh, good grief! Look, we've got to take this further. We've got to take this further, because this region down here is also this is also similarly restricted. So whatever we put in this square is therefore in one of those 2 positions because of this weird knight's move condition, and in one of those 4 positions. So in fact, this could never have been a 5, because now we can say in this box down here, whatever we've put into these yellow squares has to appear in one of those 3 positions. So that rules out 5. We know over here 3 and 4 are ruled out. We know that this square, just using Sudoku, we can rule out 6 and 7. We can rule out 8 because 8 is in one of those 2. So what are we left with? We're left with 1, 2, and 9. This square can only be, it's not an amazing restriction, but it is an amazing way of getting the restriction. This square can only be a 1, 2, or 9. Wow. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to trying this one now. Let's try this one. So this one sees these 2 squares. So this... we've got a little bit of a similar restriction, look, because whatever we put in here can't go in there. So it has to be in one of those 4 squares, and it has to be in one of these 2 squares. So again, in this box up here, it's going to make an appearance in one of those 2 positions, so it can't be 8. So this square can't be 6, 7, or 5. But this box is less useful because it sticks out too far. I don't think this box is as good. I think we can get it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 9. There may be a way of doing better than that, but it's not obvious. Oh, that square, look. This square needs to see a 6. Well, we can't put the 6 there because that's in the same region. And we can't put a 6 here because it's already got a 5 in it. So there's actually a 6 there by this funny knight's move constraint. We're probably going to have to check all of the given digits for that actually. thinking about it. But let me just try this corner first. So this corner, look, can't be repeated there because that's in the same region. So these two squares are the same. So immediately we can say, so whatever we put in here, it makes an appearance here. This is much less good, isn't it? Sorry, let me just, I know I'm being a bit methodical about this, but this is a very weird set of constraints, and I don't want to miss something. I think we can label these as the same digit, but I don't think we can limit them terribly much. We can limit them. We know they're not 1, 2, 3, or 6. I think that's as good as I can do. So 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 5 is ruled out by that one. So this becomes 4, 7, 8, or 9. Okay, so let's check some of the other given digits and see if we can find a restriction like with this 6 here. So this 2, that can pick up a 2 from a whole variety of places. I think at least 3 valid positions. That's not useful. The 3, one of those 2 positions, which are both available, I think. I'm not really interested in stuff in the middle of the grid. Surely this stuff in the middle of the grid has too many options. I mean, this 4, for example, it sees, if I can actually click on the right digits, you'd see it would see an awful lot of squares. It would see all of those squares, only one of which is in its region. So this is just not going to work. 7 maybe, at least this is on the border. So 7 can't go here. Could go in either of... No, this is not... I think I'm not understanding how to start this puzzle correctly. The 8 can't go there. No, 8 has a lot of options as well. So, so we did amazingly with this one, but that has not progressed. I've got 2 6s in the grid. I'm going to look at 6s. That is the only, that's my best restriction. I have 2 of a number. So where can 6 go in column 8? Look, it's got to go, right, it's got to go in one of those 3 positions. So let's highlight those and have a stare at that. Is there a restriction there? Yeah, this one is a bit suspicious. That is a bit suspicious because almost all of its knight's moves are ruling 6 out. That can't be a 6. That can't be a 6. That can't be a 6. This one can be a 6, but that one can't be, and that. So the only, if this is a 6, that has to be a 6. Now, is there anything wrong with that? Yes, there is something wrong with this. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. Let me. I think I can do this with colouring. Actually, let's imagine that this is these 2 red squares are 6s. Now, where can a 6 now go in this this funny region over here? Well, we've got a 6 there, so it can't go in those 2 squares, and it can't now go in those 2 squares. So it's got to be, and it can't go in the purple one. So the 6 would have to be in one of those 2 positions. But where does the 6 go in this region? Well, it's got to go in one of those 2 positions, or one of those 3 positions. And now, unless I'm very much mistaken, there is nowhere that a 6 can go in this region. These two cells are ruled out by that one. These two cells are ruled out because we know there's a 6 in one of those two and a 6 in one of those two, so that takes care of the 2 6s we know are going to appear in row 6 and row 7 of the grid. This one takes care of all those, this one takes care of those. There would be nowhere for a 6 to go in this sort of reverse T region. So this one is not, let me undo all this highlighting. Oh, I want that highlighting there. This one is not a 6, so we get a 6 in one of those two squares. Let's highlight that. Now, is that telling us anything? Yeah, this is, the geometry of this is completely off the wall, isn't it? Let's look at this one. Where we know it's got to see a 6. If this is a 6, it's got to see a 6 somewhere. Well, it can't be there, and it can't be there because there's a 6 in this box already. It can't be there because this starts off with a 6 in this box. Can it be there? Yes. And that's the only position that it can be in, because these two squares also can't be 6s because of the 6s at the bottom of the grid. So if this is a 6, this is a 6. Now if this is a 6, it's much easier to see, but the only possible positions for 6s are those three, and both of those are ruled out because they're in the same region, and in fact there's 6s down there. So these two 6s, whichever one of these is the real 6, has a 6 here. And we get a second digit in the grid. Now this must be important, surely. Yeah, look, this 6 is ruling a 6 out from that square. So this now, neither of these two squares can be 6s. I'm wondering actually if I should label, when I've actually completed a cell's knight's move, maybe I should shade it the same colour to make sure I can keep track of which digits are actually fixed. Wow. There's something though. These two 6s. Yeah, these two 6s are nice. Look at column 5. So these three squares can't be a 6. This can't be a 6. So the 6 in column 5 has to be, in fact, in one of those three positions, I think. And that gives us a 6 in row 5. Because now, where does the 6 go in row 5? It can't go in the T region because the 6 is definitely vertical. So it's not in any of those squares. It's not here because of this 6. It's not here because of these pencil mark 6s. It's not in either of the given cells. So the only cell that can be a 6 is that one. And well, this is lovely. This is lovely. Now we get 2 more digits from this 6 because look, now we can go up this column. 6 is ruling itself out from all of those squares because they're in the same region. We've looked at the corners, they can't be 6s, so that's the only position that can be a 6. And the reason I thought we got 2 positions is, look, we've got a 1 in this region as well. So where does 1 now go in column 1? 1 can only go in one position, which gives us that cell as well. So maybe I should remove the colouring now for those cells, just because we've got them in the grid. So we've got 3 1s in the grid now. This 6 sees that square, so that can't be 6. This must be the 6. This 1 rules a 1 out from that square now, so this becomes just a 2 or a 9. Oh, and it can't... Oh, this is beautiful. Look now, it can't be a 9 anymore, because now these 2 cells have been ruled out from this region. So whatever I put in here, where does it go in this region? It's got to go in this domino, and there's a 9 in the column, so that this can't be a 9 anymore. This has to be a 2. And there's got to be a 2 in those squares now. There's got to be a 2 in one of these squares. There's got to be a 2, therefore, in one of those squares. In fact, there's got to be a... Look, there's got to be a 6 in one of the... This is a 2-6 pair. Oh, my goodness me. This can't be a 6 now. 2's here. So we now know down here we've got a 2... Oh, 2's there. So the... Oh, yeah, we can place a 2 in this region. Because that one can't be a 2. This 2-6 pair rule out that one. The 2 up there rule out the rest of it. So that must be a 2. And now the T region. Where does the 2 go? We've got 2's penciled here. 2 here. There's only one cell that can be a 2. That fixes the 2-6. So these 2 see each other. So sorry about this. Let me just stare at this again. So this, now let's maybe look at this region. Oh yeah, in fact, yeah, we should look at this region. Where does the 2 go in it? This 2 and this 2. Whoops, missing the control key here. And these pencil marks rule out all of those squares, and the corner can't be a 2, so that's a 2. 2 in this region now. This one here. I don't really know how to describe it, but look, I think it's forced. Yeah, this 2 sees that one, so that's forced to be a 2. Oh, this 2 sees that one, so that's got to be a 2. That's got to be a 2. We've got all the 2's. We've got 9 2's. We've got a weird sort of step ladder of 2's. Look. Doot, 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 doot. Doot, 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 doot. 6, no, 6's are not a step ladder. They're dotted around all over the place. Goodness, I've had 23 minutes, which basically equates to about 24 hours of upload time. And I feel I've not been that inefficient either. Oh dear. So now we've got to make... Now that square, look, has to be the same as that square. Because of the geometry of the grid. Whatever I put in there can't appear in those cells. So these 2 cells have to be the same. I don't really want to highlight them though, because this one is a grey one. So what are the options though? Can we rule out this square? Its options are 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Well, this one, oh, this one can't be 8 or 9. So this one can't be 8 or 9. This one can't be 3 either. This comes down to 4 or 7. So this is 4 or 7. Oh, that's so nearly useful. What an incredible puzzle though. Some people I know, you really enjoy seeing sort of number placement puzzles rather than, you know, anything with arithmetic in it. And this is as good as it gets, isn't it? It's quite stunning. Now, I'm trying to even decide which digit to look at here. Maybe I haven't finished pencil marking all the 6's, have I? I have not worked out where the 6 goes in this box. Look, the 6 Can't go in those squares or that one. So there's a 6 domino in those two positions. Oh, the 7, the given 7 here, rules a 7 out from those squares. So there's a 7 in one of these 4 squares. Now why do I care about that? That sees that one. That's a 4. That's a 4. How can this not matter? Oh, it does matter, yeah. Where does the 4 go in this region now? That's a 4. 4 maybe in this region is reduced to a domino, I think. It must be in one of those two squares. That rules a 4 out of the corner. 4 can't be... 4 can't be in any of those... yeah, where does 4 go in the T region? It's got to go here. That's the only valid position left. 4... So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s placed. And I've not penciled 4s. Yeah, 4 down here, look. I've got the 4s in the greys. Sorry, I'm gibbering a bit. 4 must be in one of those positions. Not penciled 4s into this box either, and 4 must live. Oh yeah, in fact this box, where does the 4 go? I think it has to go in the corner, and therefore that's a 4 because of our purple logic. So that gets me up to 7 given. Yeah, look, these two 4s. I think we've got all the 4s done. I don't believe it. This is a 4 now, and this is a 4. Have I gone all more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have. And let's check they all see. Yeah, and they do all see another 4 by a knight's move. Wow. Okay. So now what do we do next? I have no idea. 8, look, can't go in those squares. So 8 must live in one of those two positions. One maybe. Look, this 1 rules a 1 out of all those squares in this funny region. So the 1 must live in one of these 3 squares. Oh, now that's interesting for this cell. Because this given 1 needs to see another 1. Well, it could see that one, but it couldn't be there because you can't repeat a 1 in a region. It can't be here because of this one. It could perhaps be there though. Grey 1s. No, we've not got a grey 1 yet. So the one could go here or here. But if it's here or here, it can't be here. So the 1 is in one of those two cells. I don't really know how to notate that. I'm going to put them in the centre just to try and remind me. Oh, and now... But if the 1 is not here, it must be in one of these two cells in this region. So the 1, this 1 and this 1 must interact on this region. So there's a 1 in one of those two cells. Now, is there a way of us telling which one of those is correct? Why is that one not grey? That's a 1 cell region. That must be meant to be grey. I must have deleted it at some stage. Ones. Maybe where can 1 go in the T region now? Because it can't go here. I think it can go actually almost any. I can't go there, so it can go in one of 4 positions. That is very unhelpful. One's up here. Can go in one of 4 positions. Oh, yes. Yes, I've got one. I've got something. This square can't be a 1. This square can't be a 1 because if I put a 1 into this square, let me just double check this. If I put a 1 in this square, I can't put a 1 in a grey cell. I don't think. So let me just look at this. If this is a 1, now what is the counterpart to this 1? Oh, no, it could be that one, could it? Oh no, it can't be that one because I've got... Oh, this is brilliant. This is lovely. Now, it can't be this one because I've got the ones here. So in fact, I got this down to... And in fact, the 2 up there, this is getting seriously restricted anyway. So this is down to being a 3 or a 9. Now, let's look at this anyway. Can this be a 1? Where is the 1 counterpart to this? Well, it can't be in the same box. So the only cell that can actually be a 1 and sort of complement this one here is this square. So we'd have to put a 1 here. Now, I think if I put 1s in these 2 positions, I can't put a 1 in... I can't put a 1 in a grey cell, I don't think. This one rules out those 2. This one rules out those 2. This one rules out that one. We know that's not a 1, and there's no way for a 1 to go in. So this square is not a 1, and therefore, let's delete it. Let's delete that. So this, in this box now, where can the 1 go? It can't go there. It's got to go here. So this isn't a 1, therefore, because we... Oh, no, that could be a 1. Why have I just said that can't be a 1? That's just nonsense. In fact, it probably is a 1, because I need to put a 1 in a grey. So what if anything... Oh, I tell you what this one does that's really nice. It rules a 1 out from that square, and believe it or not, that's important for the T region again, because now I can't put 1s in those 2 squares, so there must be a 1 in one of these 3 squares, and that one sees that, so this has got to be a 1. This is not a 1 now. Oh, which is a bit annoying, because that was looking for somewhere to put a 1. So these ones complement each other. This one needs a complement still, but could get it from the T region. But we still need to put a 1 into a grey box. And it can only be this one, can't it? Every other grey box is ruled out by a 1 we've already placed. So this becomes a 1. You can see it's got a friend there. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've placed 6 1s in the grid. I've got to put a 1 in the T region. That's 7. Oh, and I've got these. So I've got these 2 regions at the top to do. So the 1 in this region is now in one of 2 places. The 1 in this region is now in, well, it's not here or here. So it's got to be in one of these 3 squares. Sorry, I'm just staring at this to see if I can rule out one of these. The problem is these always complement each other. If either of these turns out to be the correct one, it gets a complement naturally, and this one has a complement here, so I'm not sure how to resolve that. Now, if this was a 1, it would have a complement. If this was a 1, it would have a complement. If this was a 1, oh, it could still get a complement from over there. This is so difficult. This is so difficult. Right, so let's look at this square. This has to be a 3. This is a 3 or a 9. So we now know that one of these two squares is a 3 or a 9, but we don't know anything about anything. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm struggling a bit here. 8 here, look. That means there's an 8 in one of those two cells. Now, can we rule an 8 out from... Let's try and rule it out from the border. If this was an 8, those two squares can't be 8. Ooh, the 8 would have to go there. And it can, I think. That square's interesting though, look, because in fact this cell is very interesting indeed. That one can't be a 1. I've just noticed that there's a 1 there. But this cell here, this needs to get a counterpart from somewhere, and it can't get it from its own box, obviously. And this square can't be a 2, so it can't get it from that square. So these two squares are the same. Oh, this is profound. This is profound because now this square can't be a 1 or a 6 because this square can't be a 1 or a 6. So we can now take everything that this square that's ruled out of this square and rule it out of that square. So this can't be a 1 or a 6. Oh, so this is the last 6. That's got to be the 6. This has got to be the 1. This one has a friend there. The 6 must have a friend there. So we've now done all the 6s. We've got a 1 here, ruling out 1s from those two squares. So the 1 in this region now can only be there. That gives us a 1 here. This one has a friend. This one has a friend. So I think we've now done all of the 1s, all of the 2s, all of the 4s. 3s. Let's look at 3s then. Where does 3 go in this box? That's got to go here. 3 in this box has got to go here, therefore. All of a sudden, I'm a little bit hopeful I might be able to solve this. Oh, yeah, now look at the T region. Where does 3 go in the T region? It's got to meet its friend, the 7. So there's a 3-7 pair. That means this square... that means this square can't be an 8. So this has to be the 8 in this region. This has to be a 3 or a 7. Now, in this column I need... in this column I need to place 7 and 9. There's a 7 here. So this must be a 7. That must be a 9. These two squares must be 5 and 8. That's fixable. That square must be 7 by Sudoku. These two squares now must be 5 and 8 to complete the row. What I'm not keeping track of at the moment, I'm very much aware of it, is whether any of these squares can't find a friend in a complementary position. I mean, this 8, for example, it needs to see an 8. Where does it see an 8? Bang, bang. There, whoops, bang, bang. They're ruled out. That's ruled out. That's ruled out. That's ruled out. I think this square has to be an 8. This square needs a friend. It must get its friend here. So this has to be a 3 or a 9. I don't believe it. It's not resolved yet. What a puzzle this is. I mean, imagine, just take a step back for a moment and imagine trying to design the logic here. This is something quite exceptional. Now I'm stuck again. Maybe I can use the grey. I feel like, what have I got a lot of? I've got quite a lot of digits actually. But I'm not sure where the best place is to. I don't know whether I should be looking at knights moves squares or just normal Sudoku now. These squares here have got to be 3, 5 and 9. So wherever I put a 5 here, yeah, maybe, yes. Yes. I've got to put a 5 in one of these squares and it's got to see a friend. Now I think this 5 is the only 5 available. So if we try a 5 here, it can't get to a 5. This is not a 5, so this must be a 5. Now, does that do anything for this row there? Oh, it does. Look, that gives me a 7-9 pair in that box. So these two squares now have got to be 5 and 8 to complete the box. Okay, so now over here we're looking for 3, 7 and 9 as well, I think. Now, can we rule out anything out from any of these positions? I'm sure we can. Somehow. Oh no, look. Well, let's look at that one. Can that ever get to a 9? Bang, 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 bang. No, that cannot be a 9. It cannot see another 9. Can this one see? Oh, this one can see another 9. Can this see a 3? No. 1, 2, 3. It can't. I don't think this can be a 3. So this is such an important moment. I am actually going to double check this. It can't. It can't. So this has to be a 9. That gives me a 3 here, which mimics there. This 3 sees this 7. That 7 has a mimic here. That's a 3. Oh, yes. 9 here. 7 down there sees this one. 3, 7. This square must be a 5 by Sudoku. That fixes this as an 8. That fixes that as a 5. That 5 is seeing a friend. This 8 will see a friend in one of those two squares. So this column now needs an 8 and a 9. The 8 must go to the top. It's still working. That's a 9. This 9 has a friend. This 8 has a friend. These two squares have got to be 5 and 7, haven't they? Ah, so that's resolved now. 5, 7. The 7s and the 5s all have friends. This is a very friendly puzzle. 3 and 9 must go into these two squares. I'm sure there's going to be a way of maybe this one. Can this see a 9? I don't think it can. I don't think it can, but it can see a 3. So this is a 3, this is a 9. Now we can zoom up this column, look, and place a 3 there, I think. Looks right to me. Oh my goodness, I just had a heart-stopping moment. I couldn't see the 1 in this box. For some reason my eyes didn't scan that square. and I was like, I can't put a 1 in those two squares. Oh my goodness, I've broken it. I probably still have broken it, but at least I'm still alive in my own mind at this point. 7 9s there and there. So that means that that's an unusual pattern, isn't it? Now, where does 5 go in this column? This 5 here rules it out of this square, so this must be the 5, this must be the 8. Therefore, this must be a 5 by Sudoku. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This should be an 8 as the last grey digit, and that's still working as well. That should be a 9. This should be an 8, and I'm left with this pattern up here then. And this 7 needs a friend. Oh my goodness, I think I'm going to solve this, you know. That 7, that must be a 7 to create a friend. That gives us 7s and 9s. Check. Does that say it's okay? I know it's not going to check. It does. So I hope that's correct. Obviously I can't be sure because the software won't check like all of these knights move conditions, but I did think I did that logically, and my goodness, that is an incredible puzzle. Absolutely stunning. I must stop the video because otherwise the upload is going to take too long. But Alice, I absolutely love that. That was just a work of art. Complete work of art. Let me make those two squares white again so I could admire the art in all its glory. Loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. See you later on Cracking the Cryptic.